This One News update is brought to you by ANZ. We live in your world.
The figures don't add up, so the government's now been forced to do more homework on a plan to cut teaching jobs. The Prime Minister making the concession this afternoon as some schools threaten to go on strike. With the latest, here's political reporter Michael Parkin. Mike.
Simon, the government says 90% of schools will gain or lose a teacher under this policy, but it's that portion of the other 10% that may lose 3, 4 or 5 teachers that's politically too hard to defend. So the government's being forced to change its plan.
As the kids crumbed, cooked and cut their way through technology classes today, the government was going back to the drawing board. The Prime Minister admitting changes buried in the budget that will see specialist funding for the likes of woodwork, metalwork and cooking teachers axed go too far.
It tends to concentrate the issue, and there are 1 or 2 schools that would have significant number of teachers that would have to leave under that proposal, and that would be too many for the government, so we'll just need to work on that.
The association representing intermediates says more than 300 technology teachers nationwide would be pushed out of a job.
Over the 4-year period, teacher numbers are flat actually. There's just not a growth in the teacher numbers.
The changes have some schools threatening to go on strike.
Certainly industrial action wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility. The feeling is very strong amongst the teaching community and especially in intermediate schools.
Well, let's see. I think everyone should hold their breath a wee bit and we'll work our way through it.
The government says by altering funding and increasing some class sizes it will save $43 million a year, and a specialist group from the Education Ministry will now work with the worst affected schools.
It would help mitigate it, but the problem still lies. It's not good for our kids. Anybody knows the least number of children in your class, the greater you can be an effective teacher.
The Education Minister will find out if a more measured approach pleases teachers when she opens a conference for intermediate schools on Wednesday.
So, Michael, did the government know about this problem when it announced the changes?
Yeah, well, the Prime Minister says they did know when they were going to take that funding for specialist technology teachers and put it into the general funding pool that it would create a problem. Now, that's a little bit hard to believe given there were no measures to mitigate that rolled out at the same time. Now, teachers and interest groups that I've spoken to today say there's simply not enough people up at the Ministry of Education anymore that know about teaching, and for that reason, they've dropped the ball.
Thanks, Mike. At Parliament political reporter Michael Parkin.
This One News update is brought to you by ANZ. We live in your world.